The potential supernatural revival has the perfect villain in this season 13 storyline that, in my mind, went absolutely nowhere despite its strong setup. The possibility of getting supernatural season 16 is still sadly a murky one, as no concrete plans have been announced by creator Eric Kripke or the main stars Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki during any of their recent appearances. Even so, many continue to speculate on supernatural season 16 story, who could return, and who the Winchester brothers could face down after saving the world several times. While Supernatural ended on a very definitive note with Ackles, Dean's and Padalecki's Sam's deaths, the series has proven that something like death has no bearing on the brothers or their capacity to hunt. It also will likely not stop any of their previous antagonists from rearing their heads, with there being plenty of supernatural villains who can return for a revival. However, one specific antagonist from season 13 would be a perfect fit, especially as so little was done with them during the original show's run, the Shadim. Supernatural season 13 set up the Shadim as a major threat. Then nothing happened. The Shadim were featured in season 13, episode 2. The Shadim were set up as a major threat to the world and a necessary component to Asmodeus, Jeffrey Vincent Paris, plans in Supernatural season 13, but were ultimately poorly utilized. The Shadim were described by Asmodeus as the worst of Hell's residents, as these unknown supernatural beings were so dangerous God sealed them into an inaccessible part of Hell for eternity. Lucifer did attempt to free them, but due to their insidious nature, he instead learned to fear them and locked them back up shortly after, making them seem like one of Supernatural's most terrifying monsters at the time. Asmodeus attempted to free them in Supernatural season 13 after he took over as King of Hell due to Crowley's, Mark Shepard, death. Asmodeus manipulated Jack, Alexander Calvert, to attempt this, shape-shifting and convincing him that the Shadim were a lost troop of God's soldiers who were wrongly imprisoned in Hell. Though Jack almost succeeded, Sam and Dean stopped him in time, sealing the Shadim back into Hell and out of the rest of the series. Despite this abrupt ending, the Shadim could become a great option for the villains of Supernatural season 16, especially considering how the series ended. The Shadim would be the perfect villains for Supernatural season 16. The Shadim could have been freed after God's defeat. Rob Benedict as God snapping his fingers in the Supernatural episode Inherit the Earth. The Shadim would be a perfect option for the antagonist of Supernatural season 16, as their escape into the afterlife could work for a season outside of Earth. As mentioned, the Shadim are trapped in Hell due to God's will, but after God was usurped by Jack in the final season of the series, the decree binding them to Hell could be weakened after his power was transferred. As a result, the Shadim could escape Hell and attempt to reach the mortal world, forcing the Winchesters on a hunt through the afterlife to stop them. Using the Shadim in this way would let Supernatural season 16 resolve this plot hole from season 13. The Shadim were meant to be these powerful creatures that everyone feared, but we got to see so little of them in action that it made all of the setup within the show useless to me. By using them here, this plot can be given its proper due by tying back to the original series while answering one of the many mysteries it left behind for audiences. Of all Supernatural's unanswered questions, the Shadim plot is the most frustrating. The Shadim had so much potential as a monster. Sam and Dean in suits sitting on a red couch in season 13 of Supernatural. Supernatural may have let a few plot threads go within its original run, but the Shadim plotline is the most disappointing due to the potential they could have had story-wise. If the Shadim were given more time, I know that the series would really explore how they got their reputation, giving us a monster most have not heard of and giving the Winchesters a challenge, something they did not really have at that point. Season 13's lack of stakes until the end made those episodes of Supernatural difficult to watch, so adding a new monster may have fixed that. In a similar vein, the Shadim's freedom could have led to stronger character storylines, especially for Jack as the one who accidentally freed them. He could have grappled with the guilt and newfound mistrust of others due to being deceived, adding nuances to his character that would have been introduced slowly over being shoved in quickly before the series ended. The Shadim possibly returning in a revival of Supernatural, though, would allow that same nuance to be achieved as the Winchesters race to save the world one last time.